What's going on, everyone? So, Giannis Antetokounmpo is still mulling over a trade, which, if I'm being honest, I don't really blame him. Right? What did the Milwaukee Bucks do this offseason? Right? Yeah, they upgraded Miles Turner in place of Brook Lopez. Right? That's great. But they also lost Damian Lillard, which they would have lost regardless of this season because he's going to miss the whole season. But they lost him even beyond this season, right? They just cut him, waived him, right? Stretched his contract. So now that's going to be dead money for years. Talked about it. Milwaukee, I don't see a path to improving Milwaukee. It's basically the same team. It's just instead of Brook Lopez, you now have Miles Turner and no Damian Lillard. So now you don't have that second co-star, and you're hoping that Gary Trent or somebody like that can kind of operate as such, which, don't get me wrong, he was excellent in the playoffs, but is like Gary Trent, Miles Turner, and Giannis Antetokounmpo enough to win a championship? Probably not. Right? I mean, Giannis is Giannis, never rule it out. I mean, did it without like a real second true star. Don't get me wrong, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton were excellent at those points, but they were more like third options rather than like clear-cut second options or another star. So you never know, especially in the Eastern Conference. But begs the question of the San Antonio Spurs. What do the San Antonio Spurs do about the Giannis situation if he does request out, right? And the way things are shaping up, I think they go trade for him, right? You have Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, who just kind of feel like the odd men out, right? You got Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. Those are going to be likely your two guard positions for the future. Carter Bryant's probably going to be that other wing, right? Jeremy Sohan, they got to figure out what they're going to do with him. Talked about this. The team is going to get very expensive, very fast. Right? They still haven't, at least at the time of recording this video, still haven't paid De'Aaron Fox, right? So, like, what are they going to do with that situation? Maybe you're packaging him to go trade for Giannis, but also, is that something Milwaukee would want? Sure, possibly, but would De'Aaron Fox want to do that? Because he could just walk in the offseason. To me, I think if Giannis becomes available, I think if you're the Spurs, you do it. Like, genuinely. I think you start with Devin Vassell. I think you go Jeremy Sohan, because at that point, Giannis is going to play that position. So I just don't think, like, Jeremy, again, what are you going to do? You're going to pay Jeremy Sohan $20 million a year to come off the bench? Like, it's pointless. You're getting Giannis. I think you put a package together of Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, plus whatever else, right? Ideally, I'd like to keep Dylan Harper or Stephon Castle, right? But you're probably going to have to throw in at least one of them, which my guess, the Spurs probably throw in Stephon Castle because Dylan Harper is the guy that has the higher rated ceiling. Plus, could slot in at the 2, and then you could have De'Aaron Fox play the point. So you have something like De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Harrison Barnes, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Victor Wembanyama. That might be good enough to win. Right? Obviously, it's going to depend on how good Victor Wembanyama is, but Giannis won a championship with less. Right? Like, I mean, again, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday were great. They're not as good as Victor Wembanyama. And then De'Aaron Fox, right? You may argue De'Aaron Fox is the best player Giannis Antetokounmpo has played with. And now you add in a Dylan Harper and whatever he does, a Harrison Barnes, and then a Victor Wembanyama. I mean, you have the best interior defense in all of basketball for sure, right? Between Giannis and Victor Wembanyama. I've talked about the Spurs at some point are going to have to do a consolidation trade. They're going to have to. Like, guys are going to start getting paid. Things are going to start getting crazy, right? So they're going to have to, at some point, make some type of move, do some type of trade. Right? Who better than Giannis Antetokounmpo? And you have him. Now, also you got to keep in mind, if you do trade for him, it's go time. You don't have 2, 3, 4 years to carve this out. If in a year or two you have to trade Dylan Harper, you trade Dylan. Whatever you have to do, you do, because it's go time. You're trying to win an NBA championship. But to me, if you could do like a Stephon Castle, a Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson with like picks for Giannis, you'd still be deep. You'd still be versatile, right? You'd still have Carter Bryant and Dylan Harper as like a core foundation alongside De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? In the post Fox Giannis era, you'd still have Wemby and Carter Bryant as well as a Dylan Harper. So you basically have your point guard, your one or two, I guess. Jeremy Sohan, or not Jeremy Sohan, Carter Bryant as like your 3 or 4, and then Victor Wembanyama as your 5 or 4. Right? You got that core, that foundation, and then you can go and make other moves and other deals in that post era. Right? So to me, I do think it's justified and warranted. I was kind of on the fence of like having to pony up what you'd have to pony up for Giannis, but just looking at how this roster shapes up. And there's a lot of questions right now about like, what do they do with De'Aaron Fox? De'Aaron Fox and, Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper threw a wrench into everything. And again, like I said, at the time of recording this video, they haven't signed De'Aaron Fox. So they are clearly mulling over and trying to come to a decision, right? Well, if Giannis becomes available, that decision's made for you. Right, you're keeping De'Aaron Fox, because if you're gonna go trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, it doesn't make sense to trade De'Aaron Fox because you're trying to win right now. You don't have 3-4 years for Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle and Carter Bryant and all these guys to grow and develop. You don't. By the time that happens, Giannis is he's on the decline at that point. And given the type of player that he is, who isn't like this great shooter or anything like that, there's questions about his decline. So you have this like 4 or 5 year window where you got to win, ideally 2-3 championships in that time. Right? So if you're a team like the Spurs, you have to pony up a Dylan Harper or Stephon Castle. Me personally, I would rather keep Dylan Harper because I just think he has better offensive versatility. Stephon Castle, I think, is probably going to be the better defensive guy and utility guy. But I think you could find a utility guy. I think having Dylan Harper be that other playmaker, be that guy you can bring in, like De'Aaron Fox go to the bench and you just slide Harper to the point, let him kind of do his thing. I think he'll develop into a better shooter at some point. I think he'll learn a lot from a De'Aaron Fox and stuff. And him and Giannis have that relationship already. They were working out in the offseason. So I think you have that kind of relationship and that connection. I think Giannis can kind of continue to work with Dylan Harper and stuff and would be open and willing to do that. Right. So I think that there is this path where it's like you trade whatever you have to except for Dylan Harper, obviously Wemby. You keep De'Aaron Fox. Now you don't have the like, what do we do with De'Aaron Fox? Like now it's like, oh, well, you're paying him, and you're just now Dylan Harper's your 2, right? So Dylan Harper's your 2, De'Aaron Fox is your point, Victor Wembanyama is your power forward, Wemby's your 5, and then I would go with Harrison Barnes for his shooting, floor spacing, and defense, and that veteran guy that you have to kind of put the youth and vets together, right? Kind of, and he has chemistry with De'Aaron Fox and stuff. Give you some size. Now you're big, 3 through 5 for you. So I just think that would be the best balance personally. But yeah, I mean, again, originally I was kind of on the fence about it. Now I think you do it. I think like for sure you do it if that's an option. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.